Would be a good idea if we all joined Harry for the Memorial Day ceremony this year. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Great idea.
How about you, Mike? Hi, how you doing?
Harry, how you doing?
Oh, good. How you?
Good.
Jack, how you doing?
Very good to see you again.
Anybody see,
There's Mike.
Harry.
you made it, Mike. You made it all the way.
Today's for Lou.
And Eddie.
My buddies.
For all of us. Welcome home.
it's just been a constant growth. For the rehearsals, in the first rehearsal that we did, and the first thing that you had us do was talk about how close, what drew us into the picture, and what do we like about it. And I think that really set the tone. Just speaking for myself, because as I listened to other people, and actually I was the second person to speak about that, and I even surprised myself as to what it meant to me. It was more underneath than, when I saw it in Backstage, there was a connection because that was my era. And had I not been in college, I would have been there. I would have just missed the TET, actually. And like I told you, I had a buddy that was there, and I saw what it did to him. And through the course of my life, I've come across people that have been there. So just that era, and I just felt like Jack, just looking at it for some reason. And as we rehearsed and everything, it just fell into place. But when we were going around the table, and then listening to what everybody else had to say, it just drew everybody in. And this rose is a really good symbol of that, because like right now, it's a very tight rose, it's a new rose, and pretty soon it's going to blossom, it's going to spread out. And I think that's a good metaphor for what has happened for me, because in these past 2 days of shooting, especially yesterday, what people have been doing, and for me, just leaving myself open to what is going on around me. They're just bringing things out of me that wasn't in the initial rehearsal, that are pleasantly surprising me and allowing me to grow as an actor. And I have a lot of freedom here. And I think one of the best things about this production is that there is nothing but cooperation on the set. Everybody gets along, and everybody is supportive, and you can't get a better situation than that, I think. So it's pretty funny that you gave us these roses just now, because I couldn't think of a better metaphor for it.
What's been your most memorable line?
Yesterday, when we were doing the different shots and different angles of breaking up Harry and Mike, and that was when I turned in, when Big Al says, "What are you here for?" That evolved into a shout that was an immediate reaction to what he says, because it's my anger, and I turn around and snap at him, which comes from that struggle between the other guys, and realizing that's the whole underlying problem of Jack, and it comes out, and I like the way that happened. Like I said, the way everybody else is working, everybody's working off one another, and it's just, for an actor, that can happen in a rehearsal process when you're in a play, but when you're filming something, you don't have that luxury usually. And it was nice that we had enough time and takes to do something like that for it to build, and I'm really happy about that. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this all comes out.
It's been an experience. Not just the working of the movie itself, which is basically acting, but preparation and everything that you do before. I've never been taken through such an experience before filming, and even while during filming with the little sessions you have beforehand. That's been quite an experience, quite a learning experience, and quite valuable, as a matter of fact, because I'm I'm not big on theater games, that type of thing, but I found in this particular instance that it really helped because this is a true experience, you know, and to have reached back into my true experiences in the Army and what I knew of people there, you know, it gets you just thinking about the reality of war and what it means to civilization in general as a whole specifically, because it boils down to specifics. When people get killed, it touches everybody. And this film has, just brought a reality to acting for me that I've never had on any other acting experience or film or stage even. You know.
What's been your most memorable line?
Line?
Line, yeah, for you.
In this
Yes.
most memorable line, okay. Stump the actor. Okay. Well, the only thing I can say is they're all memorable. Since I can't pick out any one in particular, that's what happens. You know, it's no one thing, it's no one line. It's a combination of all of it, which makes the part, which makes the play, which makes the film. You know, so at this particular time, I just say the writing was superb, as a matter of fact, because a lot of actors have to do all that sense memory stuff in order to evoke emotion, but with your writing, with this movie, that was absolutely unnecessary because it's in the writing, it's in the characters, in the moment. Everything that we needed to play was right there.
What's it been like? It's been pretty much an emotional roller coaster. I've never been so exhausted in my life. It has been a wonderful learning experience. Wonderful learning experience. I feel so blessed to be able to work with so many talented, creative people. It's been a real blessing for me, and it's been a lot of fun. And I have thoroughly enjoyed getting to know who Diane is and trying to not act like Diane, but just be Diane. And that, for me, has been the best part. It's been the best part. But to be able to work with a script of this caliber, when most of what somebody, especially at my level, sees, which is pretty much junk, this is just amazing. It's a gift. And I feel very, very lucky and thankful that you gave me this opportunity.
So what's been your most memorable line?
My most memorable line. It's got to be the bringing my brother home in a body bag. It's got to be, because that's the hardest one. Because every time I get to that, I just feel like my insides just thinking about it makes me want to cry. My insides just turn inside out. And several times delivering that line, it's hard not to let out a sob when I say it, because it just kind of wells up inside you. So that's got to be the most difficult one. And that makes it memorable because it just evokes so much emotion in me.
So what's this film been for you?
For me, it's a discovery of our American way on how we forget our past sometimes, and how people in our lives, we really don't understand the emotions they go through by what they have experienced in the past. Me being a service person, I can still remember some of my past and some of my friends that I talk with, and how they don't want to share their past because it's very, it's too, should I say, too deeply buried in there, and they don't want to bring it up. And I've been hearing a lot of stuff about Pearl Harbor lately, how people are afraid to, especially the Japanese Americans, they're afraid of the stuff that it will bring out towards them. And I had a friend that was Japanese and I used to play golf with, and he told me a story about when, you know, he's an American, grew in this country, and when the Japanese War broke out, they put him in a in a concentration camp in our country, which a lot of people don't realize or know that this happens in our own country, and what he had to go through, and he was, one of us, but he was looked at someone else, and like in my situation, being a Hispanic in my own country, sometimes I feel like I'm treated like I'm not part of the country, For me, it's an experience to be able to express that I am part of the whole, of the whole universe or the world, and sometimes we take separation, we separate each other. It wasn't until I got into acting that I learned that I wasn't white, I thought I was just like everybody else. And this project has given me an opportunity that for you to say, you can play whoever you want to play. And that's been, a very, very big opening for me, because generally I get sent out to be somebody who's generic, and that's not what the world's about, generic, We all serve our purposes, whether we fight or not.
I was just telling everyone who would listen and some who wouldn't, it's been the favorite project I've worked on so far. It's been, I've done a number of studio things and TV, and they have a sort of sterility to them sometimes. They're so scripted right down to the emotion and everything else. You gave us a lot of leeway between the lines. And so from a creative point of view, it was awesome. I thought yesterday, besides being absolutely emotionally draining, we gave face and dimension and everything to these characters. I hope we did credit to them for John. I said, because they were just words on a page and characters in your mind. So I hope we've given them dimension and it's beyond anything you'd hoped for. So that's my hope. And then I just felt honored to be in the presence of all the actors yesterday, because it came so, it wasn't acting, it was real. I mean, it was so real. And I was speaking with Karen this morning. She says, all I can think of is, we've lived with this for, a couple of weeks. And it made me think of the veterans who've lived with this for a lifetime. As if this can do this to me after, one day of shooting, what must it be like to actually live this stuff day in and day out in your dreams and, flashbacks, whatever. Most moving. I feel like I've contributed some small way to something that's very important.
So what's been your most memorable line?
My most memorable line. I think probably we were treated like crap, because to me it sums up my character. The bitterness inside of him flows from just those 4 words. We were treated like crap, because he looks around him and he sees veterans of other wars. He knows veterans of other wars. He knows when Diane speaks of her parade and things like that, and we didn't get that in Vietnam. And so that resonated with the character and with me personally, because, given my age, that's the conflict closest in time to my memory. And we were treated like crap, and that explains a lot.